All right, it's live. We're good there. All right, let's see. How you guys doing? Good. How you doing? Mike.
Mike, hey, Arturo.
Arturo, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Jen.
I'm Jen. Nice
to meet you.
And congratulations! I heard you get married.
In October, yeah. October 17th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
So,
awesome.
oh, you guys are house painters. Oh, awesome.
Yes.
Oh, nice. Tony, nice to meet you.
But we're really good friends with Allison and Peter.
Oh, good. Is she actually just got her dress from?
She's my daughter.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's so
Yeah.
great. I'm going to shut the music up. I'm going to go through like a 10, 15 minute thing, see if it's maybe something you guys are interested in. And if it is, great. And if it's not, you have another drink and you're good. All right, cool. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for braving the awful weather to come out. All right, baby, I'm about to shut it down and get started, okay? Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out and braving the terrible weather. I promise you, I will not talk for long. It's only going to be a few minutes. I just want to introduce ourselves to the community and you folks and tell you what we're doing here in Waterset. It will be a grand total of probably 13 minutes, and 5 of it is short videos that'll explain it much more articulate and streamlined than I would do if I was doing it myself. So I'm just going to go through this with you guys, and there'll be time for a Q&A if you want to bombard me with questions. I love it. And we'll just get right into it. So my name is Mike Sedita. This is my fiance, Casey. She's lived in Apollo Beach most of her life. Okay, we are living here in Apollo Beach. Her folks lived on the water in Apollo Beach forever. The hurricanes last year scared the crap out of them. So they decided, hey, we're gonna move way inland. So they went from Cocoa to Waterset. So they moved about 1.5 miles east. So when we decided we were gonna get married, we said, we want to be close by. So we moved here to be right down the road from them just in case they needed help. So if you have to take a call, you step out, or you could just talk right through what I'm gonna say. Is probably a better phone call anyway. What I'm going to do really quick is go over how we got here, which I just started to do, what we do, why the name of our company is 16W Media Group, what our guiding principles are, how we do what we do. There's a couple of short videos, like I said, a couple of testimonials, and then the good stuff, we're going to give away some raffles from some of the people that we already work with since we got started here. Okay, our personal journey, like I said, Casey's been here forever. Her mom and dad live up the street. Ethan is her son. He's 18. He's looking to join the military here. Evan is 15, so if anybody, he's an able-bodied 15-year-old. He's in the back of the room. He's looking for a job. So if anybody might have a job for a 15-year-old that needs to work a little bit, he's been playing pool all summer. He's a little pool shark right now, but he needs to get a job, so we're working on that. Yeah, well, he could just play. We're trying to get him to play for money, but he's not quite there yet. So Casey is also the owner of Events by Casey, so her day job is event planning. She works for a large home builder across the Southeast. So she does event planning like this type of stuff like you have here. I couldn't put any of this together. She puts all that together. Like I said, our folks live up the street. They're entrepreneurs. They've been in Apollo Beach for, I don't know, since the first dirt was laid. I have spent the last 15 years, I've owned an ad agency since 2010. I spent 20 years in corporate America before sleeves and beards and all that stuff. I wasn't allowed to do that. I used to have to say, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. And I hated it forever. So when the market crashed back in 09-ish, a friend of mine owned an ad agency and said, hey, we would like to see you come, see if you can do this. And I've done it forever. I've done brands you would know, like Welch's Fruit Snacks, Dietz & Watson, Mechanics Wear Gloves, some stuff you would probably see. But when I moved here in 2019, my folks were sick and dying, so I needed to take care of them, and I couldn't travel anymore to go anywhere. So I wanted to find something local where I would have some skin in the game with some local businesses and help them with some of their marketing. So that's how we got to there. The name of the company is 16W Media Group. The main things we do, I do something called the Branding Highway Podcast, okay? You can look it up on YouTube. I have about 25,000 followers on my channel. We do publishing, And we'll get into our WaterSet life here in a second, but I have multiple publications. You can see them over there. Everything we do is designed around family, community, kids, pets, that type of stuff. We also do digital media, Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, SEO, display ads, reputation management, all that stuff that comes along with digital media, and obviously Casey handles all the event planning. Why 16W Media Group? The difference between a Yankee and a damn Yankee: a Yankee comes to Clearwater and goes to the beach and then goes home back to New York, New Jersey, wherever they're from. A damn Yankee comes down and stays. I've been in the South for 20 years. I lived in Atlanta for a long time, and now I live here. But when you're from New Jersey and you don't live in New Jersey and you tell somebody you're from New Jersey, the first thing they always ask you is, what exit are you from? My exit is 16W. I grew up by the Meadowlands, by Giants Stadium. Actually, Ethan and I just went up to see Giants training camp last week, but 16W is what we, where I'm from, and it's a little homage to where I'm from. What we represent. So what we're about is God, family, the kids, the pets, and the community. That's what we do. This is us at Christmas over here. You'll see that is my fat English Bulldog Norman. That is our petite little angel baby Maggie. She is a golden doodle. That's them there. This is us at Easter at our church, Wellspring. And there's Norman giving everybody a little high five. Norman is our chief marketing officer. Maggie is our marketing director. Okay? What we do with the marketing here, it's called localization branding. And the goal of localization branding is to make small to medium-sized businesses feel like a household name in the communities they serve. There's no big secret to how we do it. But the secret is through content. So what I'm going to do here is just take a couple minutes to show you a couple of short videos. It's a grand total of 5 minutes. The company I partner with, we partner with, is Best Version Media. They're the publishing company. They've been doing this for 18 years. They have 94,000 businesses, small to medium-sized businesses they work with. And we are expanding to WaterSet right now. So this one's 2 minutes, there's a minute one after that and another short one after that, and that's all we got on videos, and I'll kind of open it up.
Growing a business is hard enough. How do you handle marketing without draining your time and resources? You know you need marketing, but with all the factors and trends involved, where do you even start? And once you start attracting customers, how do you ensure you're reaching the right ones? Most local businesses waste their valuable resources on marketing that doesn't work, but that's where we come in. Our multi-channel marketing bundle offers everything you need to stay in front of your target audience while you focus on what matters most, running your business. Marketing works best when it's consistent and everywhere your customer.
Yes.
That's why we combine print and digital advertising with online management tools for maximum impact. Our approach builds trust and recognition with customers in your local community. Since
2008, Best Version Media has done over 94,000 clients, billions of digital impressions. I've seen this video about 400 times, so I could probably quote it.
Best Version Media.
Oh.
It's the weather.
Or it's my computer is old for whatever reason. Okay, so I am gonna scrap this because I don't want to keep you guys longer than we need to keep you. If it comes back, it comes back.
Over 94,000 local businesses, delivering tens.
All right, yeah, we're gonna just mute that for a second. So basically what we do is we go into communities and we make the residents in the communities famous. Okay, so every magazine you see back there has a family from the community that we put on the cover and tell their family story. Our team goes in, we have photographers that take the family pictures, we tell their story. Every magazine has the same general blueprint of how we've had success with it. And you'll see if you look through them, it's gonna be a mix. We use fake Mayberry so I can kind of show you everything. But there's essentially 4 ways to be a sponsor as a brand in the publication. The first way, which is a great way, is to sponsor the family on the cover. So if that sponsorship's available, that's the first option you can do. The other way to do it is through content sponsorship. There is a kids corner, a pets corner. If you're a vet, if you're a veterinarian and you want to sponsor the pets corner, if you're a daycare or school, maybe that's it. As a pool company, you could sponsor the calendar of events if you want to do it. There's all sponsorships like that. The other type of sponsorship is called a real estate sponsor. If you know a realtor, every realtor has done an ad similar to this. It's either a half-page ad with a half-page of listings or a full-page ad with a full-page listings. There was a time in 2021 and 22 where we couldn't put the houses in it fast enough before they were gone. That time has passed. So we do have a lot of that. So the magazines are set up that way to basically bring your business, your brand, into the home in a way that's not knocking on doors, trying to solicit in neighborhoods like Waterset, and it gives you that in. So we have, what the video would tell you is, we have a 90% open rate, and what we charge to be in this publication is less than you doing a postcard to send to somebody's house. It's more cost effective than that. And we know people read it, it makes it in. Let's see if we have this other thing, because the other big thing we do is online with Meta. So what happens with a lot of businesses, yeah, this thing's totally crapped out. A lot of businesses get caught up in like not knowing how to do Meta ads and things like that. So we actually try to do all of it and bundle it together for businesses. So you get the magazine, you get anywhere from 60 to 80,000 digital impressions on Facebook and Instagram, which is Meta, or display advertising on whatever sites people go to, but everything is designed to be hyper local. So the one beautiful thing, and why we're here in Waterset right now, why we're doing this here right now, everything we charge is based on a by home basis. So it's anywhere from 8 cents a home to 60 cents a home, depending on what your platform is, what you want to try to accomplish, right? The beautiful thing about Waterset right now, currently, as we sit here and I yammer on, is there's 2,300 homes presently built in this neighborhood. Okay, Casey and I purposely capped this publication at 2,000 homes today, right now, basically for this audience and for the people we have scheduled to meet with over the next week and a half. The goal with that is to give you an opportunity, if this is something you think you want to take part in, to get in at the least expensive price point you possibly can. And the beautiful thing about Best Version Media, which is one of the cool reasons why I went to work with them, your rate is locked. So if you signed up and we're paying $200 today, for as long as you stay with us, you will always pay $200. It will never go up. It's in your agreement. So whatever that number is. So if you do the math, right now there's 2,000 homes in this distribution. You buy an ad for $500 a month, and now we add 500 homes in 6 months, the remaining 300 plus additional homes. And then when they finish building all the way down to 19th Street, there's ultimately going to be over 4,000 homes in Waterset. So you are essentially getting the benefit of seeing the vision of what we want to do, believing in the community, wanting to be a part of the community, but you're essentially getting 2,000 homes for free once they're built and once we start to add them into the distribution of the publication. So you're talking about if you paid 20 cents a home today, when the neighborhood's fully developed, you're going to be paying somewhere around 10 cents a home. So there's the rate lock, the home count, and then, you know, if it's something you're interested in doing, what we're doing right now for people tonight, because we would like to try to see if we can get some additional sponsorship besides the ones we've already gotten over the past couple of days, is if you signed up today and any ad you chose, whether it was an eighth of a page ad to a full page ad, the first 3 months, October, November, and December, so if you have any seasonal year-end stuff that might interest you, like building a pool off-season, whatever off-season is in Florida, the first 3 months your ad is upgraded at no charge. So if you bought a half-page ad, October, November, December, you get a full page for free. If you bought a full-page ad, you get a 2-page spread for free for the first 3 months. It's part of your package. That was number one. And number two, the way we profile families on the cover of the magazine, we profile businesses in the magazine. So every sponsor that would sign up today, you know, right now, would get what we call a business profile, which means our content person would reach out and say, hey, here's a questionnaire, tell us about your business. We write the story, so you don't need to be Shakespeare and write it and do all the work. We come back to you and say, hey, look, does this information look correct? Is this accurate? We're not like making up stuff like you invented like the Post-it note or whatever the situation is. Okay, so once you confirm it, we run that business profile for your business. And what that does is it says to the residents who are reading it, yes, these people are obviously advertising in our community, but this is their story. It humanizes you as not just a business owner trying to get in their wallet. You're a business owner who has a story, a wife, a kid. You moved here for a reason, why you do what you do and why you love what you do. So the business profile is a big thing. And the one other thing we're going to do with that is once the neighborhood's fully developed, we're going to run that business profile a second time for the 2,000 plus homes who didn't get a chance to read about how great you guys are. Okay? And we're in the home stretch. I will tell you, one of the other things we do and why we believe in community so much, a little bit of a background story, and I'll let Casey elaborate on it a little bit, but we're affiliated with the Robert L. Howard Foundation. So Bobby Howard was a former Hillsborough County sheriff who passed away a couple years ago in a motorcycle accident. Casey was in a relationship with him when he passed away. So to honor his memory, she started a foundation to give back to the community to South Shore. And what she has done over the past couple years, last year she gave out $7,500 in scholarships to kids who graduated a couple different schools here. So we did that in the spring with our friends at Mission Barbecue. They helped us sponsor it and put that event on with us there. And we also gave Christmas to 317 kids who would have not had Christmas if it wasn't for the Robert L. Howard Foundation. So I say all that to tell you that we're putting our money where our mouth is. If you believe in this and you want to be a part of the community, what we're going to do is we're going to donate a portion of our net profit back to the Robert L. Howard Foundation. So maybe you're saying, hey, look, you guys run this business and Casey runs the foundation and we're just kind of putting money into one or the other. We're putting the money into the foundation so we can give back to the community, because we wouldn't be doing what we do here in the community that we love, that we want to be a part of, if we weren't giving back to the community in a way that helps, foster family and friends and pets and things like that. And the last thing I will tell you is, if you like this type of event, what our goal is with this was to kind of see how it turned out. The weather kind of sucks and it maybe put a little bit of a damper on the turnout, but I think it was a great turnout. I appreciate you guys all coming out and braving the crappy weather. But what we would like to do, because Casey's an event planner, she kind of starts itching if she can't do an event. We'd like to do like resident mixers, where we're bringing residents in, where you guys as sponsors will have the ability to come in, and not like a flea market where you're setting up booths, but where you can sit and kind of hang out and talk to people so they get to hear about what you guys do. And it's not just, hey, here's my card, give me your money type of thing. So resident mixers and more networking events like this, where you maybe meet, if you're a title company, you meet a realtor, you're a mortgage person, you meet a title company, you're a pool installer, you maybe meet a concrete guy or whatever it is, that you guys can all work together and leverage the community. So that's what we want to do going forward in the future. So that's really the gist of what I wanted to talk about. Casey, is there anything you want to kind of fill in the blanks that I missed?
You want to talk about, because I think it's super cool coming from my business, because I get scatterbrained with it, is like the digital portion of it, with the platform and what they do.
Yeah. So one of the cool things we did, and the video's crapped out, so I apologize, I'll figure that out. But one of the things we do that is really, really cool. So picture essentially this. You're a sponsor. I know I'm picking on you, Joe, because you're right there. Okay, so you're a pool company. You have your ad in this magazine. So someone in Waterset sees it, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I've seen that name before, whatever. Now they go to their Facebook page. We're going to reinforce your brand on Meta. So they're going to see it on Facebook when they scroll as a sponsored ad. And then like, oh, I don't want to go on Meta anymore because everybody's fighting over whatever politics or whatever nonsense is going on. So I'm going to go to Instagram because I want to look at pictures. Now they're seeing you again on Instagram. That's great from a digital standpoint on Meta. But then what display advertising is, and a lot of you may know this, but just kind of a refresher, display advertising is just a network that delivers ads to sites. So every time you go to a site and you see a banner somewhere, there's ways to buy that ad. Either you buy it directly from the site or you buy it through a network and it goes to a bunch of sites. We use various digital networks to deliver ads. So now they saw you in the book, they saw you on Meta, now you're going to Harley.com or the Yarn Network or whatever sites you go to where you reside on the internet, your ad is now appearing there. So all of a sudden they're going, how does this local pool guy or how does this local painter show up everywhere where I'm going, but it's only micro-targeted here. So you're not wasting ads all over the place. But then, it's like an infomercial, but there's more. The really cool thing we do is we do something called online presence. So if you guys know, and I'm sure you guys do it, you maybe did it with me when we sent out emails. You went to Google to see, oh, is this guy full of crap? What's his reviews look like? Who's bashing him? And if you're like me, I always look for the 1-star review to see who's nailing the person. Okay, I don't have any. I have all 5-star, by the way. But one of the cool things we do with online presence is this. You now have a dashboard. Our team, our digital team through Best Version Media, sets up a time with whoever you're going to handle the day-to-day for your business, and they come in and they set you up on a dashboard. That dashboard does a couple of really cool things. Number one, it takes all your information on your Google My Business page, whatever your correct information is, and actually replicates it across 70 different sites. So I don't know if you guys have ever done this. You look, hey, what time is Mission Barbecue open? I go to Yelp and it says, oh, they're open till 10 o'clock tonight. I show up at 9:50 ready to eat, but they're closed because their site wasn't updated with the right information. Now I'm pissed off. I'm like, Mission Barbecue, geez, what did they do? They're closed early. What this does is it takes all your information and makes sure it's the same everywhere. So you never run into that reputation issue there, okay? And say you want to go on vacation the week after Thanksgiving. Somehow you're going to take that time off. I want to shut the shop down from the Wednesday before Thanksgiving until the Monday after. You have one dashboard to change your hours and put it in, and it replicates it to 70 different sites. So you never have to worry about people missing you and setting a bad first impression. And then what it also does beyond all that is it gives you the ability to respond to reviews. And not just Google or Facebook, you will get a dashboard that shows you all the places people can leave you reviews. So it'll say Google in one, Facebook in the other, Yelp in the other, MapQuest, whatever else where they deliver that stuff. And it keeps your information correct, but it gives you the ability to go back and say, hey, we had a great experience with you guys. Hey, we loved having you. And you get to respond. Why do you care about all that stuff? Is the fact that Google cares about it. Google cares about whether or not your business is relevant, and that type of information back and forth keeps you relevant with Google, and that's super important to help you rank higher. So those are a couple of things we do to tie it all together so people are kind of checking you out, finding you, and being able to communicate with you and keep your business top of mind.
Do you want to do like just 30 seconds for the magazine real quick, just to kind of show what's in there?
So, well, this is a fake magazine. So I can tell you already, and I started to say it and I kind of cut myself off. We've had I know it's kind of salesman-y to say this to you, we've had a really ridiculously overwhelming response. In 2 days, we've already sold out some stuff that is no longer available. So sponsoring the feature family in the magazine is already sold out. Armetta's Dance Studio on 41 has already bought that space, okay? We've already have a mortgage expert in the magazine. So that's Katie, the mortgage lady. She couldn't be here today. We're gonna give a raffle away for her as well. Iron Rock Insurance has taken our insurance expert. So Lisa's been great. She loves it. She's bought into it. She knows. We walked in the door and started talking to her. She's like, I've been waiting for one of these to come back out here. So you have the option to do all different types of stuff. The coolest thing in the magazine though, as a marketing person, if you were asking me, one of the best places to advertise, if you don't do it with me or you do it anywhere else, the best place to advertise in a magazine is the back cover. Why? I can pull it out of the mailbox and I never even have to open it and I could see your ad. So that's number one. The feature family, which is already gone, I'm sorry, I already kind of buried the lead, is really good because we know everybody reads that. And the reason people read it, like the secret sauce to all that stuff you see on that back table is neighbors are nosy and they want to read about what their neighbors have going on. It's no great like secret thing. I had one family, and people still talk about it 3 years later. The wife was a Hooters waitress, and the husband was a traveling salesman, and they told their story in the magazine. And when I'm in my neighborhoods in Wesley Chapel, they're like, oh, I remember the Chu family. The wife worked at Hooters. So people remember the stories. So that's what makes it work. And honestly, I wish I could tell you, like, hey, I have Pulitzer Prize winning authors writing these great content think pieces about whatever. There's none of that. It's really everything you would see if you pick them up back there. It's families, it's pets, it's kids, it's stuff that you want to feel. We live in a world right now where everybody fights over everything. The sky is blue. No, it's gray. You know, you have orange hair. No, you're senile. Whatever the fight is that people want to fight over, we purposely keep above the fray so no one has to deal with that. And that people feel good about that. So that everybody loves that. So the biggest thing we do, if you're not going to do the back cover or the feature family that's already gone, is the expert contributor. So we do it a little different in our magazines, but normally the expert contributor is your headshot or your logo about your business, and then all your contact information. So when people are looking for a painter, a plumber, an HVAC person, they're finding you here. The big thing about this, though, that changes it, makes it different for everybody else. Is anybody here in a B&I group? You know what B&I is? Does everybody know what B&I is? So the thing about B&I is there's only one specialty per category. If you're a residential real estate agent, the rest of the residential agents are fighting to get in that group if it makes money. The same thing is true with our expert. There is only one specialty per category. So there's only one financial advisor. There's only one residential real estate agent. So once you get that, you get in and do that. And why it's a differentiator, You get to write content 4 times a year in the magazine in your voice. So people actually get to see that you know what you're talking about. It isn't just, I'm gonna run a big ad so a bunch of people see it. Now they get to see why we do a pool a certain way, why we invest a certain way, what's going on in the real estate market. So it's a huge differentiator for your brand, because the one thing we do know, which is the biggest thing about marketing, is content is king when it comes to marketing. Everybody knows what TikTok is, because all it is stupid content that people roll through. It's super popular that governments are fighting over whether or not it's allowed in our society. Content is king. So if you're creating content, the way to do that is as an expert. So that's one of the biggest things. And the real estate page, I showed you that. The magazines, feel free to take stuff if you want to look at it. If you guys have any questions for me, I can tell you, there is another company that does a very similar thing. And I'll tell you who my competition is. They're not really competition. There's a company called N2 that does a very similar thing that we do. The biggest differences between what we do with this versus them, they don't do the digital the way we do it with all the other bells and whistles. And they only focus on what we would call in the marketing ultra affluent. So they're only focusing on homes that are $1 million plus. It's great, they have money, they have deeper pockets. They're sometimes a little bit more difficult to deal with as a consumer, and they're spread out. So you might get a couple people in Symphony Isles, a couple of people in Mirror Bay, and a handful of people in Waterset. Our goal is to create community, not just target people with a bunch of money. So we stick to an area or two. Here we're sticking to just Waterset because we know we have another few thousand homes to build into it to create a tremendous amount of value for you guys to be able to get in at a lower rate to be able to reach more people. So, any questions? If you guys want to hit me with some stuff, go ahead.
Like you said, I can ask you 2 questions.
Yeah.
You're only one expert, but how many people do you allow in a certain category in magazine? Like how many pool builders, how many builders, how many?
Great question. So we don't limit the number of actual sponsors, okay? And I'll tell you, I see the face you're making. Nobody does. Nobody does. So did you watch the Super Bowl last year? Did you see a Coke commercial? Yeah, unfortunately, I'm with you. Okay, they're from Philly. They're from outside Philly. So we won't talk about that. Let's go back to the real important stuff. The reason I bring up the Super Bowl is this. The audience is what everybody wants. My audience, this audience, is the holy grail of consumer. Affluent, single-family homeowner with disposable income. That's why you want them. We don't cap it just like the Super Bowl because you see a Coke and a Pepsi commercial on the Super Bowl. You see a Bud and a Coors commercial. It's just part of the competition. If you're good at what you do, my job is to put you in front of the people that need you. Second question.
I'll ask you the second question later.
All right, hold off on that. Go ahead.
I got a couple different
Yeah, go ahead.
questions for you. From the magazine standpoint, so you said that you're advertising as a sponsor. What does that mean? Is it a monthly publication?
Great question. I probably should have covered that. It's pretty important. It is a monthly publication, and I don't use the term sponsor to be cute or like word salad anybody. It's advertising. You guys all know, you're business people. This is advertising. The reason I use the term sponsor is the term that we use is because what we're basically saying is the magazine gets mailed to the homeowner's house every single month and they don't pay for it. So Joe, you guys are gonna see it in your mailbox in October, okay? They don't pay for it, but the reason we refer to it as a sponsor is because we're saying you believe in this community so much, you wanna be a sponsor in it to provide this for the community at no charge. So we kind of use it as an equivalent to like sponsoring a Walk for a Cure or a Little League team, but it is a monthly advertising branding campaign that you're creating.
So how is my company branded? Is it a quarter page ad or like you said, like you sponsor a
Great question.
article? Like how's it
Yep.
shown in the magazine?
So from the print standpoint, there's a standard ad which can run anywhere in the magazine, just as my designer kind of fills it in, like lays it out, anywhere from an 1/8 of a page ad up to a cover position, a back cover position. You could be anywhere in between. And what I'll say when I say that is this. Every business. I have a kid in Odessa who's 18, who has a pickup truck, who does landscaping. He spends $250 a month. Like, I can create something for every budget. So if you're sitting here going, oh, it's gonna be exorbitant amount, blah, blah, blah. There are expensive campaigns. Advent Health spends a lot of money to work in these publications because they want that branding. But anywhere from $200 a month up to $2,000 a month and anywhere in between, it all depends on what you wanna present. The biggest thing is when I was talking about that ad upgrade, you're getting the first 3 months to do that kind of like announcement. Like, this is what we do. It's big. We want to make a splash because We know with branding, it's not direct response. You're not selling widgets or something like that where someone picks it up and sees it at 3 o'clock in the morning and needs it, weight loss pill or something like that. It's not really like a lotion, potion, or a pill. It's a business, it's a service. So we want to be in there consistently. So when they do need you, you're the first name they think of. Now they might go to Google and then see how many 1-star reviews you have, but they're gonna do that first. But we want them to see your name and know who you are beforehand. So it's consistent branding over time, any size you want, from 1/8 of a page up.
Okay, and then my last question.
Yeah.
From the digital standpoint, are you hyper-focused on the same neighborhood the publication's going to, or is it customizable?
Great question. So there's a couple different levels to how we do digital, but the best one is we will give you, between Meta and a display network, we kind of bundle them together, 60 to 80,000 impressions per month, put a pin in a map in WaterSet right here, and you get to choose. Do you want to condense it in a 5-mile radius and just keep hitting those same people over and over again? Or you have the option to expand it to 15 miles. If you want a little Riverview and a little Ruskin mixed into it, we can expand it. But even better than that, if you said to me, hey, I got a satellite office in West Shore, we can divert via zip code to up to 5 different zip codes to divert your impressions. So you get a mix. Again, this is like how you want it. We can be able to mix and match it to make it work for your business. So we can put if you have a zip code somewhere specific you want to hit, we can do that. 5 miles, 15 miles, or 5 zip codes spread out.
Thank you.
Okay? It's okay.
You forgot.
I got the same gene.
So I have a couple businesses, like I own a cigar lounge.
Yeah.
Is it also for entertainment, things like that, or is it just home services?
No, anything. So, and even better for you, well, we can get into more granular stuff with you, but like, so if you're gonna do digital campaigns, you need to have one business to one digital campaign. But, this is just kind of out of the box thinking, say you have 3 businesses, or 4 businesses, I'll use a nice round number because I'm from New Jersey, I'm not super smart, okay? 4 businesses, instead of buying 4, I know, sorry. Instead of buying 4 quarter-page ads, you could buy 1 full-page ad, and you could split it up into quarter pages. And you bring up a great point unintentionally. Good job. My team does all the work for you. So this isn't designed for us to be your marketing team and then come back to you and say, hey, we need your graphic designer to do this and blah, blah, blah. My team does it all. So you could actually say to me, hey, my cigar lounge, here's my logo, here's our services, here's our address, our phone number, and our website. Build the ad. My team builds it, comes back to you and says, hey, what do you think? You go, I want the cigar to be a little bigger. I need the phone number a little bigger. You proof it. Once you approve it, boom, we go. You can do a lot of that. Actually, I'm behind the 4th wall like Deadpool. I'm the worst artist in the planet. I'm a marketing guy that does money. That's what I do. I did that logo with ChatGPT. Okay, so, and she looks really good, by the way. So yeah, you can do a lot of that stuff too.
So can you change, can I change, like say, I wanted to do a half page of the cigar bar 1 month, but next
Every
month,
month.
I make it smaller,
Every month. Well, size-wise, no. That's tough to do. But what you could do is, so we're launching in October. Say you want to do our Halloween special. You can run the ad for Halloween. My team will say, it's really guided by you. We're not going to bombard you with stuff, but you might be able to say, hey, look, here's my Halloween. I'll make my ad feel Halloween-y. Okay, make my ad feel Thanksgiving-y. And they'll go in and they'll tweak it and they'll put, I don't know, what's that called? A gorg, whatever those things are. They'll put something like that in the ad. They'll make it have that feel of the season. So we can do all that stuff too. Now, say for example, for you, again, I'm not picking on you, but pool season, okay? Say in the spring, like you want to ramp up, we can actually do some stuff to make sure your ad's a little bigger in those months. Like we're going to give you the first 3 ad upgrades, but you and I can talk and we can do some special stuff to upgrade you around seasonal stuff. Because then what happens is, like I'll give you an example, my generator guy, I have a generator guy in one of my publications. He doesn't give a crap about advertising over the summer. He still does it because he wants that consistent branding, but he's so busy putting in generators, he doesn't have time to really do anything else. However, he loves bumping it up in November and December and January when people like her parents are scared, out of their mind. Oh my God, we need a generator. So that's when he bumps it up. So we can get creative with helping you to enhance to seasonal stuff. But if you got a couple businesses, we can get creative with how we lay it all out to make it. My goal is it's branding, But we're trying to build relationships. That's why we're doing all of this. So we're going to do whatever we got to do. And the other thing I will tell you, this is kind of all totally aside, and you guys can go do your research after this. When Casey and I first met, we started talking, and I'm going to sound like a dick when I say this, but I said to her, I said, listen, I have a podcast. It's called The Branding Highway. Go look it up. If you hate my accent, you hate the way I talk, if I look like a jerk, if you don't like the way I look or sound, you don't have to ever call me again. And then I didn't hear from her for like 4 hours. I'm like, oh shoot, I'm screwed. I really screwed that up. And then she called me, she said, I like your podcast. And it's all designed for business owners. It's all designed for us to talk about what your business does. I do that as added value because I want my clients to get the most out of the experience. So what we do, if you're a sponsor in the magazine, we'll record a podcast once a quarter, and you'll be able to use that content. We take a 20 to 30 minute interview. So Joe, I might interview about what's going on in the market. We do that interview, and then with AI, I cut it into 20 shorts. Now you're tough because compliance stuff, there's only certain stuff you can say, right? But we cut it into 20 short videos that might be us talking about how I hate Philadelphia or why the Giants have been terrible for the past decade. We won't talk about that, but it cuts it up into stuff to make it engaging so that, listen, there's 1,000 financial guys. There's a ton of pool people. What's different about you? How do we make you different? And the podcast is just added value because I want my businesses to succeed. I want you to, when you're working with me, I want you to go to the next guy and say, we work with Mike. He's kind of obnoxious. He's from New Jersey. We don't mind that about him, but you should work with him because he really gives you, he gives you some advantages with your business. And that's what we're trying to do, create advantages for our sponsors and really make it cool for the residents. Like, I'll tell you, and I don't even know if it's in here. Let me see if I have it. I'll tell you the two things I love. Oh yeah, it is, okay? This is why I love what I do, okay? This is a quote. This is one of my neighbors. I put her on the cover of the magazine, her and her son. She's a single mom, she's a little bit older, her son's a little older. Put her on the cover of the magazine, she sends me this text. Hey, all the neighbors love the article, they're asking us for our autograph. I went to work out and the instructor told the group that I'm a celebrity. Thanks again for picking us, we're so proud. When I get that we are so proud from a resident in my community, man, I grew up in New Jersey and probably did some questionable stuff as a kid. That makes me feel better, like I'm still gonna get in when I go and have a conversation eventually, okay? And then this is another one that's great. A buddy of mine, now he's a buddy of mine, he's also a sponsor, he owns an Allstate agent, you'll see his ad back in there. He calls me and says, hey Mike, my son's been playing flag football, he's kind of aged out, he wants to play tackle football, I need to toughen him up a little bit. I said, hey Dave, I interviewed the director of the Suncoast Lions, why don't I connect you guys? Three-way text, Dave, this person. A week later, 4 days later, I get a thing, hey Mike, my son's the quarterback for the Suncoast Lions. Thank you, he's so excited. He's so excited. And all I could think to say was, hey, when's the first game? And I go see this kid play, and he's the nicest kid. Hey Mike, thank you, Mr. Sedita, thank you so much. Mr. Sedita, Mike, thank you so much for getting me involved with the team. That's the stuff that I love about what we do. And I'll give you one last story, and it's my favorite one out of all of it. You'll see Norman in my magazines. Norman is my chief marketing officer. I pimp him out hard. He is like everywhere, okay? I used to live in Estancia in Wesley Chapel. I'm walking him in the yard. He goes to the bathroom. I bring him back inside, and like 5 minutes later, I go to the door. This little chubby kid reminded me of me as a kid. He goes, hey, you're Norman's dad. I go, I am Norman's dad. I said, what's up, buddy? I go, how do you know Norman? He goes, he's in the magazine every month. He's 10. And there's one of his magazines is back there. He goes, can I play with Norman? I said, sure. Come on, Norman, come outside. He waddles his big butt out there. Goes, plays with the kid on the front lawn for like 5 minutes. I said, all right, buddy, have a nice day. I go, where do you live? Down the street? Okay, go. I go back inside. 5 minutes later, it's his little sister. She goes, my brother got to play with Norman. I want to play with Norman. Norman, come back out here. So Norman comes back out, she plays with him, and then the mom comes over. She says, Mike, she goes, we knew you had lived down here. So I try to keep a little bit of a low profile. My Jeep is obnoxious, but everybody sees it. I'll be like, hey, you're speeding in the neighborhood. Slow down a little bit. So I try to keep a little bit of a low profile, but she said, we knew you moved in down here. She goes, we love the magazine. We get it. The one thing universally, look, I'm going to tell you, I'll give you all the warts. This doesn't work for every business. I have an 85% renewal rate. So 15% of the people that work with me, it just doesn't work for their business. I don't know if that could be you or not be you. I know 85% it works for. Okay, what I will tell you is 100%, I never have a family come to me and go, your magazine about pets and families and kids, it sucks. Stop sending it to my house. Nobody ever does that. Everybody who gets it loves it because it makes their friends into local celebrities. I will tell you, my magazine over there, 54 West Life, there's a wait list to be on the cover until March of next year. I have that many families, my assistant has that many families waiting to get on the cover. Now, I'm a businessman. What I do is if you're a sponsor that lives in the community and wants to be on the cover, like if you're a pool guy that wants to be on the cover and lives in the community, hey, what's a good time for us to tell your family story? I put sponsors on the cover if they live in the community. So we do that. So we would do that type of thing, right? Every time I get a new sponsor, that wait list gets pushed out and pushed out. So now that one's March. Wiregrass Living is November. Cross Creek Living is relatively current. So, you know, the thing I love, I'll tell you guys the thing, I lived in Wesley Chapel. Wesley Chapel's very corporate-y, okay? There's a lot of businesses, it's very corporate-y. The one thing I gotta tell you that I do love about Apollo Beach, and where I grew up in New Jersey, everybody knew everybody's business. I didn't really love that. That's part of the reason I left New Jersey. But Casey says, she emails about 10, 15 people and says, I'm starting this magazine. My fiance does it. It's really exciting. Like everywhere we go, like people like are into it. We want to start one here. She goes and gets her wedding dress and they're here, okay? The community feel for this, I mean, I've created community in Odessa and Wesley Chapel, which is tough because it's very corporate. I'm looking forward to seeing, because of her relationship with the community already. Like, look, she calls Mission Barbecue and says, hey, we're doing this event. It's not part of the foundation, but would you help us out? There wasn't even a hesitation. Yeah, when is it? What do you need us to do? We'll send our catering team out. Like, that's community. That's the stuff I love. And Apollo Beach, you guys have it in like abundance. So we're really looking forward to seeing how great this thing could be. And we really want to, you know, if it's something you think you want to do, I will spend as much time as I can to build something customized for your business tonight, tomorrow, over the next few days to get you in so you can get as much of a discount as possible for when we grow, you're in on the ground floor. So it's like buying a stock, coming in on the ground floor. So, guys, I've talked a lot. Does anybody have any other questions? I don't want to stop you from asking them. Usually in a group, someone wants to ask it, but they're like, I don't want to ask it because I don't know. But somebody else has the same question. So if you guys have any of that, please hit me with whatever you got.
You locked in everyone for 12 months?
Yeah, the minimum is 12. So I will tell you that, great point for bringing that up. The minimum agreement is 12 months. So because it's branding, with this company, which the slide I couldn't get to it, is this company started in 08 doing this. And talk about the crappiest time on the planet to start delivering stuff to people's homes. 08, 09, when everybody's underwater and getting foreclosed, right? So it was terrible. They took that first 5-year window to figure out, look, what really works for the brands that are doing this? And if it's branding, and this isn't a Mike Sedita thing, you guys can Google this. Google a term, the marketing rule of 7, okay? It's a generic branding term. It was started in the 30s by radio executives who said, how many times does a consumer need to hear? Then it was radio, now it's hearing and seeing. Do they need to hear a brand before they say, hey, I want to go do that? And it was 7 in 1930. It's 100 years later. You could look up stuff, some say 18 times or 10 times. If you did it 4 times, you'd come back to me and say, Mike, this sucks. I hate it. I didn't see enough from it. It might take 4 or 5 months for you to get a deal, but once you get your yard sign in there and you're doing your work, then you're gonna get more and more from that. So it does take time to do the branding. So 12 is the minimum. The only one thing as an independent contractor, us as independent contractors cannot change in this entire platform is if you are an expert, if you are gonna write content and be a foundational block in that magazine, the agreement is 36 issues. That's the only thing. So we already have 6 experts signed up. Mortgage, insurance, HVAC, something else. So we already have people, a handful of people that already said, we believe in it. We're not going anywhere. Our business is gonna be here. We're not retiring. We're not leaving. We want to be a part of it. We want to be a foundational block. So great question. 12 is the minimum. The only other thing is if you want to be an expert, it is 36. So that's another wart if that's an issue for you.
How many expert spots are available?
One expert per category. So like, for example, lawyers are a good one. Not in most cases, but lawyers are a good one in this case. I could have a personal injury attorney. I could have a family practice attorney. I could have a marital law attorney. I could have, I had a workman's comp attorney. So attorneys, I might have 4 attorney experts, but they're in different categories. So
The number of experts isn't capped. Like you don't have, say, you only do 30 experts.
no. And here's the best part. And you bring up a great point. Thank you for doing that. I always maintain a 60 to 40 content to ad ratio. Because if you guys get it, again, I'll tell you another one of my competitors, the Home Mag or Best Deals book. They're great. It's a coupon book. If I don't need the services in that book at the time it comes out, it goes in the garbage. Just like a postcard does, okay? They go in the garbage. What makes this work, besides people wanting to hook the family on the cover, is its content. You're gonna see every magazine you pick up and look at, there's a calendar of events about water set in Apollo Beach. There is recipes, there's drink recipes, food recipes, workout programs, like stuff that we all write. And the best part is, what makes it work is it's engaged with the residents. So residents will have in every magazine, hey, you wanna write an article about whatever, if you're a resident, write an article about what's going on. We just did a Tunnel for Towers, I don't think it's out yet, Tunnel for Towers article up in Wesley Chapel, and then we did another one where we went into the school and had journalists, like kids that are trying to do journalism, write for the magazine. I say all that to tell you the 60-40 ad ratio, if you guys all signed up today, our magazine is gonna start at 16 pages. If you all said, I love this sounds great, Mike, you did an amazing job, we're gonna sign up. I can now add 4-page increments to my magazine. I try to keep my magazines under 48 pages is the max I will ever go. Because what happens is this, if you're an 1/8 of a page advertiser and I got a 16-page magazine, people are gonna find you. When I get to 48 pages and you have an 1/8 of a page ad, it's tough to find. So I try to keep it under 48 pages, but if for whatever reason, if I had such an abundance, and I did, I could always add 4 pages to make sure I got enough content in there to get people to go back to it. Because if I flip through it once, like the Best Deals book, I flip through it once, oh, I need a screened-in porch. I'm gonna rip out that page, that's the one I'm gonna keep, the rest goes in the garbage. Our magazine, all of them that you see, there's 2 stats and the slide wouldn't come up. We have an 89.4% open rate. Why that's important? You could be the best pool guy in the world and I could have the best magazine in the world. If people don't open it, it don't matter. It doesn't make a difference. And 92.6 of the people we've surveyed said we find the content useful. It's about us, by us, and for us. Not 90% on both angles. It far outperforms from a readability standpoint any coupon book, any postcard you're gonna send out. And I'll tell you, to be a full page expert, it's 36 issues, full page, writing the content, it's 48 cents a home. And if you guys bought in now, when we add the other 2,000 homes, that 48 cents becomes 24 cents a home. You cannot buy a list, have a designer create a 5x7 card and mail it with postage to that many homes for that price. It's just not. I have a real estate agent I'm a Rotarian, I'm in the Rotary Club, okay? This real estate agent sent this thing to my house every single month. It was 8.5 by 11, color, 2-sided. I finally said, how much did you pay for this? She said, I pay $1.70 a home for that thing. It's a lot. It's ridiculous. Now, I was gonna guess around 80 cents, but even at 80 cents, it's a lot. When I can actually write an article 4 times a year and have a full page ad for half of that, that's insane. So listen, I've given you my competitors, I've given you the warts. I can tell you that people love it. And if it's something you guys want to be a part of, we would love to work with you. If you don't like anything I've said or you just don't like the way I look, you can deal with Casey. She's much better to deal with and look at, I promise you. But that's all I got. So if you guys, go ahead, sure.
Is the page placement random or do you pay extra for front of the book, back of the book?
We don't do front of the book, back of the book. So we're laying it out. The only thing that is succinctly placed is this. When my designer lays out the magazine, it's kind of how it all fits together like a puzzle. But when, say we do the business profile on your business, we're going to put your ad next to the business profile. When we do your expert article, the expert article is going to feed into the business profile. And you bring up a great point. If you're a quarter-page expert and you write an article, it's a quarter-page ad, and the rest of the page is the article. Half page, so you get a little less article with a little more ad. But if you're a full-page ad as an expert, you get a whole full page of content to write. And the beautiful part is this. So say you say to me, hey, Mike, look, I love it. This sounds fantastic. I want to sign up. What we do is we write the agreement, whatever works for you, budget, timing, etc. And then the first thing I do once it loads into the system is we send an email to our assistant. Crazy, our dog is named Maggie, our assistant is named Maggie, okay? Maggie and Sandy are my assistant and my content coordinator, and Kim is my graphic designer. I will email Maggie and Sandy and say, Maggie, Sandy, this is Jen. She does painting, and she's going to be our quarter-page expert in Our Waterset Life. Oh, and I do want to mention Our Waterset Life. She's going to have an ad upgrade for the first 3 months. Maggie and Sandy, I guarantee you, within 24 hours, will send you an email and say, Jen, welcome to the family. This is what we do. This is what you need, and give you and lay everything out for you. So our goal is, you're running a business. We know you guys run businesses. You got a million things going on. Payroll, advertising, sales, quotes, all the stuff you do. We don't want to add more to your plate. We kind of want to take away from your plate. So the goal is to set this up so it's nice and streamlined for you to run your business. And the last thing I will tell you, it is called Our Waterset Life. Casey's been through a lot. I just mentioned the situation with her ex. I lost my mother, my brother, and my father in 30 months. We appreciate our life. That's why we focus around God and family, all that stuff. This is Our Waterset Life. And our goal is to bring you all in to Our Waterset Life and share our life with your life. That's how we came up with the name. And the acronym for Our Waterset Life is OWL. And Casey's maiden name is Wise, like the potato chip. So if she shows you her tattoo, she's got a tattoo of an owl on her ankle. So it all does kind of tie together, as corny as that might be. But great question, PJ. Thank you. Guys, that's it. Please. Eat as much food as you want. The last thing I will say is, if you want to scan that QR code, okay, that'll take you to 16W Media Group. You can research me as much as you want. But what that'll do is that'll give you the opportunity, so it's not so, loud and crazy, where you can click on that, fill in your information, and it'll ask you, what is your comfortable budget that you want to allocate towards marketing and Waterset? And we'll set up a time to meet. We can go over it. I can create an actual agreement to show you what it looks like with all the bells and whistles. And we can set up a time to meet over the next, really, we're trying to get this across the finish line. We need probably about 6 people left between now and Wednesday to really, before we start to kind of add more homes and do the things we need to do to get it going. So if it's something that interests you, feel free to scan that. And you can see there's Norman. Our phone number is 8634-NORMAN. That's our main number. Or if you want, we're here. If you have questions and you think you might want to sign up, we would love to set something up for you right now if you're interested. So it's really up to you guys. But please eat, drink, be merry, and come. Thank you very much. Oh, we got to do raffles. So let's do that. Cards? Yeah, throw it in there. I'll shake it up good. Ben, okay, we can do that. We can do that too. Thank you for the questions. I appreciate it. Excellent. Anybody? We missing anybody on your card? Thank you. So what'd you think?
Sounds good. It's a good concept. Yeah. They did something like that in Ohio.
Oh, they'll be out of it.
It wasn't near as,
involved. How far are you from Chicopee? You know where that is? One of our best publishers is in Chicopee, Ohio, is his hometown. So
never even heard of it.
Yeah, in middle of nowhere.
I wonder if you're saying it wrong.
I'm probably
Chillicothe.
Chillicothe, that's it. Yeah, see, it's so small I don't even remember it.
Yeah, oh yeah. I know exactly where Chillicothe is. Here, I'll throw one of those in.
You can take those. This is just designed to give you generic pricing to see if you signed up tonight, ballpark of just a print ad would be somewhere around that. And if you decided to wait, that's what it's going to look like once we're fully up and running.
Okay.
All right?
So where do I sign if I sign up today?
Right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Tell me a little bit about.
We do commercial and residential cleaning.
Okay.
We are residents of Waterside for 12 years.
Okay.
And we used to do this before with somebody else. I don't know if you know Linda Cook.
Yeah. So, Casey, what was the woman? Sorry.
No, it's a different family every
What was the woman's name who ran the old magazine? Linda Cook? Yeah. So she advertised in that magazine too. Yeah.
Okay, so basically that's what we did.
Okay.
And she moved out,
Yeah, and then the new guy took over, and then it went in the crapper, and I know the whole story.
But everything you presented tonight
Sounds the same.
sounds similar.
That's an N2 publication. Yeah.
But the editors and all the things that you can. Okay. And we need to bring back the presence here.
Okay.
I said this is sort of
Okay.
we live here.
What size ad did you run when you were in that?
Here is the thing. I want to talk to you about different snacks.
Okay.
One of them, with Linda Cook, was bartering. Do you guys do something like that?
I can't.
Okay,
I can't do it. Because I need to be able to show like the ads in there. I can't do that. But
it's okay. So we did at first, the full page. And
Yeah.
then we went back. We went
Yeah.
down to half, and I'm pretty sure you have all
right.
this option.
Yeah.
So we want to do that, and you are not sending these magazines right now, right? You're gonna start.
October is going to be the first issue.
First issue.
October 1st.
So yes.
Yes. So you're ready to go?
Yes.
All right. Let me show you. Let's go back here so we're out of the way and we don't disturb anybody. Let's go over here.
No, one problem that we used to have, not we, but Linda used to have,
Yeah.
was the distribution. Like, are you gonna cover?
Great questions. Here, I'll show you. So that is the knock. So when I was saying like this is Best Version Media. That's what we do. The one you were in is what's called N2. That's right?
Yes.
The knock on N2, like why we kind of get business from them, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's the same concept, right? What our goal is to do is to stay consistently in the same spot. With N2, and maybe you noticed this, maybe you didn't, you had a few homes in Mira Bay, a few homes in Waterset, a few homes scattered around because they only go to $1 million homes and up. So they're only going to the ultra affluent. So it's always sporadic. Once we set the homes, and I'll show you exactly what it looks like. So, do I have, log out. Let me just log back in here. Cancel that. So do you mainly do commercial or residential?
Residential is for 40, and that's what we want to for here for this magazine.
Right.
We don't want
And
to
that's
get it
the big thing. That, I mean, look, I'll tell you. Have you ever heard the term? Have you done a lot of marketing or no? You've done a lot of marketing? Okay, so I'm a numbers guy. Even though I do marketing, I'm a numbers guy. There's a term called lifetime value of a customer, and your business is one of the best businesses for that. You, landscapers, businesses that have recurring services. Because once you get somebody in your system, if they pay $150 a month or $250 a month, you probably keep them for at least a year or 2 years, right? So you have them. Once you get them in, you keep them. That's the beauty of your business, that all you need to do is get a couple people and they start paying for all of this. So let me just show you really quick. And you heard me say we capped it at 2,000 homes, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is Waterset right here. This is where it's going to go right now today.
Okay.
The only area right now that's built that we're not going to is this little area right down here. We're not going there right now because we want to keep the price low for you today. Once we get this launched in the next couple weeks, we're going to add those homes into it. And then once all the rest of this is built, we're going to add those, but your price is never going to go up. Okay? So that's what that looks like. Let me pull up for you some options to show you what we would do. And then the other question is, how about like Facebook and Instagram? Do you do any of that currently? So you do that. So would you want additional impressions with that?
So you have the option to separate that and
Yeah.
just only do the magazine?
You can only do the magazine. Yeah.
Okay, well, yes.
Now, do you do the reputation management? Do you do any of that stuff, like the Google reviews and things like that?
I have a person that,
That does it.
that works with me, but here is the thing. This person is not in United States.
Okay, so you have like a virtual assistant kind of doing it.
And,
All right.
She works from there, but
Let me show you. And then the last question I have, would this appeal to you, having this expert in the, like, you're not going anywhere, your business is going to be here. Would you want to write content in the magazine where you're writing stuff?
yes, eventually, that's a good way to get into people.
All right, so I'm going to show you 3 options.
Okay.
I just like to ask first before I just start hitting you with a whole bunch of stuff. So let me show you. Okay, now I'm going to show you 3 options. I don't want you to freak out. I'm showing you kind of like a baseline, and we can tweak it to get it to where you need it to be, okay? Option 1, Our Water Set Life, that's the magazine. This is a 12-month agreement. This is a half page, okay? And this includes anywhere from 15 to 30,000 impressions on digital.